Okay, so you've been following along. You've learned about assets versus liabilities. You get how taxes work, and you understand how fear can hold people back. You've got the knowledge. But let's be honest, there's a pretty good chance you haven't actually started yet. That gap, the one between knowing what to do and actually doing it, that's what we're closing today, using the blueprint from Chapter 8 of Rich Dad Poor Dad. So let's just get right to it. I want you to really think about this for a second. You understand the theory, you've grasped the concepts, so what's really truly stopping you? This isn't just a random question. It's the key that unlocks this entire chapter. Robert Kiyosaki puts it so simply here. All the knowledge in the world doesn't mean a thing if you don't act on it. It's just potential. This chapter isn't about more theory. It's the practical playbook designed to snap you out of that analysis paralysis and finally get you off the sidelines and into the game. So, where do we begin? Well, it's not with spreadsheets or stock tickers. According to Rich Dad, the real starting line is inside your own head. It's all about finding a reason, an emotional reason, that's so powerful it makes taking action feel like the only option you have. Just think about that for a second. It's a fundamental truth, right? Logic can help you make a plan, but it's not what's going to get you through the tough times. Emotion is. Just vaguely wanting more money isn't going to cut it when you hit your first obstacle. You need a deep, powerful why that will anchor you when things inevitably get difficult. So what does your why actually look like? Well, it's usually a mix of things you want to run towards and things you want to run away from. Maybe you're just done being an employee. Or maybe you crave total freedom over your schedule. Seriously, take a minute and write these things down. Get specific. This is the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about. Okay, once you've got that internal fire, that powerful why, the next step is to build a world around you that protects it. Think of your motivation like a small flame. Your daily environment is the wind. You have to decide if that wind is going to fan the flame or blow it out. Now, this slide points out something that can be a little tough to hear, but it is so important. The people you surround yourself with matter a lot. If you're constantly around financial pessimism, the chicken littles who always think the sky is falling, that's going to rub off on you. But if you immerse yourself in conversations about opportunities, about growth, about deals, your entire mindset starts to shift. The big takeaway here is that wealth isn't some one-time event. It's built on a foundation of small, simple, daily choices. First, you choose to invest in your mind, your single greatest asset. And second, you start treating every single dollar you have as a vote for the future you want. Each choice you make either builds your asset column or your liability column. It's that simple. And that brings us to what Rich Dad calls the most powerful habit of them all. This is a true test of self-discipline, and it's something that fundamentally separates the mindset of the wealthy from everyone else. The principle sounds so simple. Pay yourself first. But don't let that fool you. This isn't about just saving the little bit that's left over at the end of the month. No, this is about flipping the entire way you think about cash flow completely on its head. This diagram shows you the critical difference. The typical way is you earn money, you pay all your bills, and then you see if there's anything left to save. The Rich Dad way is completely different. You earn money, and the very first payment you make goes into your asset column. You pay your future first. Now, this is where the idea gets a little radical, maybe even a bit scary for some. What happens if you don't have enough left over for your bills? The advice is to not dip into your savings or investments. Instead, you let the pressure build. Why would you do that? Because that pressure, that discomfort, is an incredible motivator. It forces your brain to get creative and find new ways to generate more income. And that habit connects directly to this incredibly powerful mindset shift. Saying I can't afford it is like an off switch for your brain. It just shuts down. But when that pressure is on and you're forced to ask, okay, how can I afford it? Your brain fires up. It starts looking for solutions, creating possibilities, and turning that financial pressure into financial genius. So we've talked about emotional fuel, we've talked about daily habits, and we've talked about paying yourself first. When you start to weave all of these threads together, a really powerful truth starts to emerge about what it actually takes to get started on this journey. As you can see, the path to getting started has almost nothing to do with how much money you have. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. It's about finding that deep why, building the right habits, surrounding yourself with the right people, and then just committing to taking consistent action, day in and day out. And if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. You do not need to have it all figured out. Building wealth isn't like winning the lottery. It's a process of learning and doing. The action you take, no matter how small it seems, is what matters. Because starting small is infinitely better than not starting at all. So, we've covered the mental game, the core habits you need to get off the ground. But this isn't the end, not by a long shot. This is just the foundation. The question is no longer how do I start? Now the question becomes how do I accelerate? The next chapter moves beyond the mindset and gives you a specific, concrete to-do list for building up that asset column. If you're ready to go from theory to aggressive action, that's where the real momentum starts to build.